Hi, everyone, and welcome back to NeoEnglish, the podcast where you learn real English through real news.
That's right. Today we're looking at an interesting headline. Republican Senator backs Powell over Trump attacks on federal. Sounds political, right? But don't worry, we'll break it down step by step.
And if you're just starting with English, this is a great episode. You'll hear useful vocabulary, simple sentence structures, and learn how to talk about politics and economics in conversation.
Let's start with the people involved. The headline mentions three important names: a Republican senator, Powell, and Trump.
Yes. First, Republican senator means a member of the U.S. Senate who belongs to the Republican political party. In this case, the senator is John Kennedy, not the president from the 1960s, but a current politician from Louisiana.
Next is Powell. That's Jerome Powell. He's the head of the U.S. Central Bank, also called the Federal Reserve or just the Fed for short.
The Federal Reserve is super important. It controls interest rates and tries to keep inflation low. Inflation means prices going up over time.
And last, Donald Trump. He used to be the U.S. president and is trying to become president again.
So the news is about how Senator John Kennedy supports Powell and not Trump, when Trump criticizes the Federal Reserve.
Trump has been unhappy with the Fed because it raised interest rates while he was president and now during the Biden administration. He thinks that hurts the economy.
But Senator Kennedy says the Fed should be independent. That means it should make its own decisions without political pressure.
Let's pause here to explain some useful words and phrases.
Sure. First phrase, back someone. To back someone means to support them. Like, my friend backed me when I ran for class president, or the coach backed the team captain's decision.
Next, criticize or attacks, as seen in the article. Both mean you're saying something is wrong or bad. For example, she criticized the new school rules, or he attacked the plan in the meeting.
The Fed, short for Federal Reserve, is another key term. If someone says, the Fed might raise interest rates, they're talking about the U.S. Central Bank.
And the word independent is important. If a group or person is independent, they don't let others control their choices. Like, many teenagers want to be independent, or the news station tries to stay independent from the government.
Let's go over the story again using simpler language. A U.S. Senator named John Kennedy is supporting Jerome Powell, the head of the U.S. Central Bank.
Some politicians, like Donald Trump, are not happy with Powell. They say the Fed is making bad decisions, especially by raising interest rates.
But Senator Kennedy believes the Fed should be free to make its own choices, without being told what to do by the president.
Kennedy says, we need an independent Federal Reserve. That means he thinks politics should not control the country's money system.
This brings up an important idea. When politics and economics mix too much, it can create problems. That's why many countries want their central banks to stay independent.
Okay, let's now take a look at some of the important vocabulary from this story and how to use it.
First, support or back. Example, I back your decision to learn English with this podcast. This shows agreement.
Next, independent. It describes something that does not rely on or follow someone else, like independent countries or an independent person.
Then we have criticize or attack. These are usually negative. You can say, my boss criticized my presentation, or the newspaper attacked the mayor's plan.
We also learned the Fed is short for the Federal Reserve, the most powerful bank in the United States.
Let's put it all together in a short story to help you remember.
Once upon a time, a man named Powell worked at the biggest bank, called the Federal. A former president, Mr. Trump, didn't like Powell's decisions. He criticized the Fed again and again.
But Senator Kennedy said, no, we should back Powell. The Fed must stay independent. It's how our money stays safe. That means he supported Powell and didn't want politics to control banking.
And that's the main point of today's news. One politician is supporting the bank leader, even though the former president disagrees.
We hope that helped you understand both the English and the current event. If you found this podcast useful, share it with your friends who are learning English too.
Until next time, keep learning, keep talking, and keep listening. You're doing great.
Thanks for joining us on NeoEnglish. See you in the next episode.